we're going to explore 5 really powerful books that can act as our compass. We're going to journey through some big ideas that'll help us understand ourselves, our minds, and our place in it all. It's a huge question, isn't it? We're all just trying to find our footing on this journey. The books we're about to dive into, they don't offer one single, easy answer. Instead, what they do is give us a whole toolkit of navigational instruments. And our journey, well, like any real journey, it has to start from within. And that's exactly where we begin, with the individual. This first leg of our exploration really tackles that fundamental, internal struggle for meaning and authenticity in a world that can feel, let's be honest, pretty overwhelming. So, our first tool comes from a true masterpiece of modern Turkish literature, Aylak Adam, or Idleman. This book gets right to the heart of the modern condition. It introduces us to a character who is profoundly, and maybe a little too relatably, at odds with the entire world around him. The novel just absolutely nails this feeling. You know, that sense of being lonely in a crowded room, desperately searching for something real and sincere in what feels like a superficial world. It's a profound sense of alienation that I think many of us can recognize. The real power of this novel comes from the way it's written. It pulls you directly into the character's mind. You feel his conflict with society, the isolation of city life, and his almost obsessive quest for something authentic. There's a reason this is a cult classic. It forces us to confront that uncomfortable but totally necessary process of finding ourselves. Okay, so after confronting the problem of modern alienation, where do we possibly find a solution? Well, we turn inward. Our next section explores 2 fascinatingly different scientific paths to understanding and really harnessing the power of our own minds. And this is what makes this pairing so cool. We've got 2 books, both grounded in science, that approach human potential from completely different directions. One guides us toward harmony, while the other, well, it asks us to take a good, hard look at our darker traits. First step is the science of goodness. This book argues that our greatest potential gets unlocked when our mind, our emotions, and our body are all working together in harmony. And this isn't just philosophy, it's backed by neuroscience and psychology. It offers practical ways to use conscious awareness to improve not just our own lives, but the world around us. And now for the twist. The Good Psychopath's Guide flips the script entirely. It suggests that certain traits we usually associate with psychopathy, like being cool under pressure, confident, decisive, aren't inherently evil. The book argues these traits exist on a spectrum, and when you channel them correctly, they can be incredibly functional, even beneficial, in high-stakes jobs like surgery or leadership. So here you have it, 2 really distinct paths. On one side, potential is all about harmony and awareness, aiming for overall well-being. On the other, it's about channeling these functional traits like decisiveness to be super effective in tough situations. So, which one is more valuable? The key insight here is that it's not an either-or question. From the inner world of the mind, we're now going to broaden our scope. This next section challenges us to look at the systems of belief that shape our societies and to actually question the foundations we often just take for granted. Our next book makes a really bold argument about one of the most powerful forces in society, religion. Titled A Libertarian View on Religion, it challenges us to approach faith not just through tradition alone, but through the lens of individual freedom, conscience, and critical reason. The author argues against this one single, powerful concept, Kör Taklit, which translates to blind imitation. This is the act of following tradition simply because, well, it's tradition, without ever engaging our own critical thought. The book basically says this is the central obstacle to finding a truly personal and meaningful faith. This sets up a pretty clear contrast. One path to belief is shaped by social pressure and authority. The other, which this book champions, is based on individual conscience, reason, and a kind of intellectual courage. Ultimately, it's a call to move away from dogma and toward a more thoughtful and pluralistic way of engaging with our own beliefs. We've explored the self, the mind, and our belief systems, and now we arrive at our final stage. How do we apply all this understanding to what is arguably our most important legacy, shaping the next generation? Our final book asks the question that every single parent has asked. How should I behave towards my child? It's an incredibly practical guide that just cuts through all the noise of parenting advice and translates complex child psychology into clear, actionable steps. The book's real power is in its simplicity. It boils modern parenting down to 4 essential pillars. It's not about having all the answers, but about building the right framework, understand their emotions, give them secure boundaries, connect through empathy, and maybe most importantly, guide with support rather than rule with fear. And if you take away just one single thing from this book, let it be this. This quote perfectly captures the modern, effective parenting philosophy it's all about. It's a fundamental shift in perspective that can literally change everything in a parent-child relationship. So there you have it, a full toolkit drawn from our 5 books. For finding authenticity, you've got Idleman. For inner harmony, The Science of Goodness. For being more effective, The Good Psychopath's Guide. For critical belief, A Libertarian View on Religion. And for building a better future, How Should I Behave Towards My Child? Each one is a different tool for a different challenge. And that brings us to the end of our journey for today. But it's really the beginning of a new question for you. Looking at your own life and the complexities you're navigating, which of your big questions will your next book help you answer? Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration.